Gio.
BT and Sal.
Evan and Tiki.
Keith McPherson, your nighttime host on The Fan.
On the fan.
On the fan.
On the fan.
It's WFAN Daily, hosted by Pete Hoffman.
Welcome to another episode of WFAN Daily as the New York Yankees have life. That's right, a huge comeback win by the New York Yankees, and we're going to get into a lot. We're going to get into the Aaron Judge moment that was. I mean, Aaron Judge had his moment, tied the game up at 6, and then the rest was history. From that moment on, the New York Yankees took control of that game, Game 3 in the ALDS, and it was no turning back. But let's start with the beginning of this game. Carlos Rodon had nothing. That's the thing that the biggest takeaway here. Carlos Rodon had absolutely nothing to start this game. And the fact that the Yankees came back to win, being down 6-1, you got to tip your cap to the New York Yankees for being able to fight back after losing 2 in Toronto, being down 6-1 versus a Blue Jays team which looked like they were going to be undefeated in this series and just sweep you out of your own building. But we'll get to a lot of it. Let's first start here, okay? And it starts very early in the game. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Now, we're talking about Aaron Judge. We'll get to him. How hot he has been, Aaron Judge, this series. I mean, Vlad Guerrero Jr. is better. He is unbelievable. I think he's batting 700 or close to it, or at least was batting 700 after he hit a two-run home run off of Carlos Rodon. And that's the thing is, like, in the beginning of the game, you have to understand and recognize how tough of a hitter Vlad Guerrero Jr. is. You can't pitch him normally. And I said this the other day and I made a comment of it, and I don't remember where I made the comment, but I said it with Bob Papa on a plane ride or on a bus or whatever it was. He turned to me and said, Vlad Guerrero's up. It's 5-0 Blue Jays. Bases are loaded. And I looked up at him and I said, listen, just walk the guy. And he goes, what are you talking about, walk the guy? Bases are loaded. You're going to walk in a run? I said, yeah, it's either that or a grand slam. And what do you know? It was a grand slam. You cannot mess around with Vlad Guerrero Jr. anymore. It doesn't make a difference what inning it is. I mean, maybe, okay, yeah, 9-6 in the 9th inning, you're up by 3 runs. You want to go head-to-head. There's nobody on base. Okay, I guess there's the one time you could do it. A solo home run's not going to kill you. But early in the game, George Springer, strikes out. Okay, fine. Schneider walks, and which is something that makes you nervous with Rodon. He does give up a lot of walks. And Vlad Guerrero Jr., what does he do? He sends a shot in the seats, a no-doubter. Like a no-doubter, straight away center field. And it was just like, right there, you're just saying, why did you even bother putting the ball over plate? Why did you even bother throwing a ball to him? Period, end of story. But Vlad Guerrero Jr. is so unbelievably hot right now. Let's see. He's batting .615 at the moment. .615. He was 2 for 4 today with a home run, an intentional walk, which I think is the smartest thing. And they walked him again another time as well. So the Yankees are starting to figure out Vlad Guerrero Jr. is up. We walk his ass. We don't pitch to him. I don't care what inning, what position. But, okay, so it's 2-0 early. And you go, this could crumble real quick. Kirk grounds out. Varsho strikes out. Okay, fine. 2-0. Not the end of the world. It's still early. Let's go. Grisham grounds out. Judge continues to hit. I know it hasn't been amazing up until this point. Hasn't been amazing. But Aaron Judge gets a single. Continues to find ways to get on base. And no matter what you want to say about a disappointing postseason, he hasn't had his big moment yet. He's still having an excellent postseason. Like, defensively is a different story. Throwing out runners, different story. But offensively, he's putting bat on ball. He's doing what he did all season long. There was a reason why he batted over 300. Aaron Judge is a really great hitter. He really, truly is. He's a power hitter for sure. That's what people want to see. They want to see the home runs. They want to see the extra base hits. But Aaron Judge is an excellent hitter. It doesn't make a difference the situation. He just puts bat on ball and finds a way to get on base, which he does. Then, thankfully, and here's another key. This is a key to this whole game turning for the New York Yankees. Ben Rice reaches because IKF, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, can't field the ground ball to him. It takes a weird bounce or hop or whatever it is. Then he goes to barehand it and it kicks off his foot and he can't get anybody out. So now you got Judge going to second base and Rice at first, and you got Big G, Giancarlo Stanton. Yes, it's not a home run, but guess what? The guy in big moments finds a way to get a big hit. And what does he do? Base hit, drives in Aaron Judge. Rice goes to second base. It's 2-1, cuts the deficit in half. Okay, cool. We're moving here. Jazz Chisholm flies out. Okay, fine. But you cut you didn't just back in the corner and say, oh, we're just going to get shut out today. Shane Bieber's a good pitcher. And they gave you an opportunity to cut into that deficit by making an error. You got to make them pay. And that's what the Yankees did. That's good. Listen, sometimes it's all it takes is I was talking to my kid's hitting coach today, and that's exactly what he said. He goes, dude, the Yankees, are they done? I go, I don't know. I can't tell. They look kind of dead. And he goes, dude, all it takes is for just one guy to screw up. One guy screw up, and the whole thing just changes. Just get ready. Just watch, wait. And that's what happened. IKF with the error, eventually run scores. There you go. Top second, again, Rodon's got nothing. Clement single. I know Santander and Falefa get out, but then you hit Jimenez, which is kind of like a bogus play. You sit there, you watch. Is it really a hit by pitch? It doesn't look like a hit by pitch, but I guess they can't overturn it. Where was it? Was it the hand? Was it the elbow guard? You hear a sound, whatever the case is. They send them to first base. Yankees challenge, no luck. George Springer pops out. Okay, good. Get out of the inning, but you lose a challenge. Okay, that might play into things later on. Next inning, bottom second. McMahon flies out. Volpe strikes out. Wells strikes out. 1, 2, 3, easy peasy. Not very good. And here we go. It's the top of the third inning. Schneider leads off with a double. So Rodon's got absolutely nothing today. Absolutely nothing. You're talking about the biggest game of his career in a Yankee uniform. He's got absolutely nothing. Okay? This is you got to save the day. This is on you to keep the Yankees in the game. Got nothing. Schneider doubles to lead it off, and then you got Guerrero Jr. with the intentional walk, which is smart. That's what you got to do. They get Kurt to line out, but then here you go. Varsho single, scores Snyder. Clement single, scores Guerrero Jr. Santander scores Varsho. This game goes from 2-1 to 6-1 right before your very eyes. It is a mess, and Carlos Rodon should have been pulled before that. Listen, Carlos Rodon had nothing. This is a winner-go-home situation for the New York Yankees. I think Aaron Boone's got to be a little bit quicker here. Whether it's the right after the Schneider double, whatever the case is, you need to, at this point in time, go batter to batter. You shouldn't be going, all right, let's see what else you can do. I know that there's tomorrow that you have to worry about as well, but there is no tomorrow if you can't win today. Well, at this moment, they're losing. It's 6-1. Finally, Fernando Cruz comes in. And this is where the Blue Jays, take themselves out of the game too. Because you bring in Barger to hit for IKF, who is more of a, it's obviously a righty-lefty matchup. I'm trying to score more runs, sure, but I think Barger's more of a defensive replacement at third base is what they were talking about. He strikes out, and then Jimenez grounds out. And now here you go. So 6-1. Trent Grisham's up. He's working a count. It's 3-2. He goes to, or at this point in time, it's 2-2 or whatever the case is. He goes to take a pitch, and he takes it, whatever it is, and it looks like Grisham's bat hits the catcher Kirk's glove. And you hear a sound again and all this other stuff. And there's no call of catcher's interference. So Boone goes, no, I want to challenge that. That's clear as day. You look the way that the bat bounce or the glove bounces off the bat and then goes right back. It seems like there's some sort of contact. And right away, Boone challenges it and he loses. Done with challenges. This you talk about, it was so insignificant. Now, it could have been, it's insignificant maybe because what happens next. But at that moment in time, it's like, did you really have to call that? Was that the play to, you got one challenge left. You never know what's going to happen. Is that the play to go for? But he does. He doesn't win the challenge. But thankfully, Trent Grisham goes and gets a double and finds his way on base after a long at bat that he basically grinded out. And it was rightfully deserved. He got out, it was a good hit by Trent Grisham. It was clean. It was great. Brings up Aaron Judge. Wild pitch sends Grisham to third, and then Judge doubles to left. Grisham scores 6-2. So here you go. Judge just keeps on putting a bat on ball. Shane Bieber, who is a really good pitcher, I know he just came back from Tommy John, but he's been pretty good all season long. He's only pitched like 8 games, but he's been pretty good all season long since he's come back. And listen, the Yankees were able to get to him partially because of some errors, but Judge just continued to hit the ball. Bellinger singles, Rice gets into a fielder's choice, and then Giancarlo Stanton unfortunately couldn't have a bigger hit, but sac fly, which scores Cody Bellinger, and then basically the inning's over. Chisholm walks, but they finally pull Bieber. Again, you got to be paying attention to what's going on. You're about to blow this game right here at 6-3, and Schneider is smart enough to take out his starting pitcher, say this isn't working. Whether it's his fault or not, it is not working, and it's time to get Bieber out of the game. So they go to the bullpen. Flaherty comes in. Rosario hits for McMahon, and he pops out. Which, again, you'll see later on, maybe this is a good thing. I don't know. You go to the 4th inning. Fernando Cruz does a good job, strikes out Springer, Schneider, Guerrero singles again. I mean, you talk about Aaron Judge and Vlad Guerrero Jr., the two side by side. I mean, whoever wins this series, whether it's the Yankees or the Blue Jays, it's either going to be Vlad or Guerrero or Judge who's going to win the MVP of the series because they're both just unbelievably hot right now. It's unbelievable how both guys just keep on getting up and keep on getting base hits. But then Duvall comes in for Fernando Cruz and gets Alejandro Kirk the ground down. Comes up bottom of 4th. Volpe strikes out. Sucks. Austin Wells reaches because Barger, the guy they brought in for defensive replacement. I know it was more of like a lefty-righty matchup before. Okay, fine. But he's really a good defensive third baseman. And the way that I think it was Small 2 described it, it wasn't his ball, but a ball gets hit to left field, between third base and left field, and Barger's making that play, running for it, and he just misplays the ball. He can't get it, and Wells reaches, and then what do you know? Grisham walks. Then, here we go. Varland comes in to take over for Flaherty because Flaherty, who is a lefty, you don't want that lefty versus righty with Aaron Judge up. Guy's been on fire. This is not a win-win situation. So they go to the bullpen. They go to Luis Varland. And what does he do? What does he do? Aaron Judge hits a shot down the left field line. And if I'm correct with it, if it's gone, this is his moment, was the play from the call on the TV. And it was gone as it hit off the pole, off the foul pole, and Aaron Judge has his moment in the playoffs for the first time that I can remember. I mean, that's not true because he had a home run last year. He had some big home runs. He had some big moments. But this was his biggest of this postseason. No doubt about it. Now, the guy is on fire. Aaron Judge is batting, what is he batting right now? He's batting 500. So let's not say, oh my God, that's the only thing he's done all play. He's batting 500, okay? He went 3 for 4 today. That happened to be the biggest moment, but he's been crushing the ball. He's been making contact. He's been doing great. So please don't give it, oh yeah, thankfully that's all he's done is that home run. He's done a lot more. That being said, game is tied 6-6, and here we are, tie ball game. 2 errors by the Blue Jays put the Yankees back in this game. That's really what it was. Because Carlos Rodon gave nothing. The bullpen's doing good, shutting them down, but Carlos Rodon gave absolutely nothing. And the Blue Jays errors allowed the Yankees to get back into this game, allowed them to get back into a situation. Again, Wells, if that ball's caught, even if you walk Grisham, it's a 6-5 game. The game isn't tied. Yeah, it's scary. Yeah, that's great. But it's not the same. Same thing with IKF. I mean, that could have been an easy, even if all IKF got was Rice out at first base and Judge was able to get to second base. Maybe you score a run, maybe, but still, these situations really hurt the Blue Jays. And thankfully, the Yankees were able to make them pay. So we get to this fifth inning. The bullpen, like I said, just continues to dominate. Duvall, strikes out Varsho. Clement doubles, unfortunately. Santander lines out. Tim Hill comes in for relief, strikes out Barger. There you go. Again, the Barger came in for defensive replacement, failed on the field, failed at the plate. And you want to sit there and criticize Boone for everything he's done? He was able to nail this bullpen down. He had it locked and loaded, okay? He was ready to go. That Barger at bat versus Tim Hill never had a chance. So beautiful job by Boone. You want to nail Boone for all his mistakes? Got to give him credit for that one. So then we get to the bottom of the fifth, and Giancarlo Stanton leads off, and I love G. Strikes out. Didn't look so good at that at bat, but you feel the energy changing. You feel things changing. Early in the game, you see they're down 6-1. You see Jazz Chisholm yawning and like, maybe he's listening, just bored of this game. Well, guess what? Jazz Chisholm woke up. Maybe it was the judge just kicking him in the ass after that 3-run home run because he sent a shot to right field that you knew off the bat was a home run, and boom, Yankees now have a lead going into in the bottom of the fifth. It was beautiful. It was perfect. Then they got to go back to the bullpen. They bring in Fisher for Varland. Rosario doubles again. That was that switch that Boone made earlier, coming back and helping him out. Rosario has been fantastic. He really has. I think Fisher was a right-handed pitcher, but it doesn't make a difference. He still hit him. Well, was Fisher right-handed? Doesn't make a difference, really. That's just going to sidetrack me for about 2 minutes. Let's see. Fisher is, because if that would be stupid if that's what they did. Splits, stats, bio. He's a righty. Yeah, figured that. So the fact that he even hit a righty was even more amazing. Think about that one. Because Rosario, his numbers versus lefties was like 300. I was showing Anthony, my youngest, going, look at this guy. This is why he came in from command, because his numbers are 300. You expect something to happen right here. He's like, who's this guy Rosario? It's like, just trust me on this. We know what we're doing here. Anyway, comes in, gets a double. Volpe strikes out, but also well singles him in. And it's now 8-6. Yankees with a nice 2-run cushion. You go to the top sixth. Jimenez out, Springer out, Schneider out. Boom, boom, boom. Little comes in the bottom of the sixth. Grisham lines out. Judge gets walked. And again, now you're starting to see the respect. It's like you can't pitch to Judge anymore the same way you can't pitch to Vlad Jr. It's so ridiculous. Like, in these moments, like, what takes so long for you to realize you're not going to be able to pitch to him? But then you have to pitch to the next guy. Cody Bellinger doubles, gets Judge to third, and then Ben Rice gets a sack, which off the bat and the sound of the crowd, you think, oh my God, he got one. It's going to go over the fence. It wasn't, but Judge scores. And we got a 9-6 game right now, a 3-run lead for the New York Yankees versus Blue Jay team, who haven't scored since what, the third inning when they pulled Carlos Rodon? Yeah, haven't scored since the top of the third. So you're just in the bullpen has done their job, and the Yankees offense is doing their job, coming back and fighting back, and that's all you had to do. This is why I didn't understand when people said, oh, well, but the Blue Jays are so tough. The Blue Jays are so tough. Yes, they pitched well on the game 1 and 2. You got to give Gaussman and you got to give Savage credit. They pitched well. They pitched really well and shut down the Yankees. But you could see they scored 7 runs off the bullpen. I know it was garbage time, but they did. They did do that. And this bullpen never scared me. It never did. And that's all you had to do was get to the bullpen, make them get to their arms that you could touch up. Yankees were able to do that. Seventh inning, we just go through it. There's no really crazy situations here. Seventh is clean. You go, but top of the seventh, by the way, you do go to Devin Williams here. He relieves Tim Hill. He gets Guerrero to pop out, which is surprising they pitched to him, but Guerrero to pop out, Kirk to fly out, Varsho to strike out. He comes back in the eighth inning. He gives up a single to Clement, but then he strikes out Santander, and then Bednar comes for a 5-out save. Barger grounds out, Jimenez grounds out, boom. Okay, good. We get to the bottom of the eighth inning. Offensively, they get into a situation where it looks like they could potentially get some runs. They don't do it. Stanton, bases loaded, pops out. Okay, good. Last couple of bats for Stanton wasn't very pretty. And that happens. It happens to the best of us. Definitely happens to Stanton. But Bednar comes in versus George Springer, strikes him out. Nathan Lukes strikes him out looking. And then you got Vlad Guerrero Jr. with a hard hit ball to Caballero at third base. And he was able to make a great play. Was it Caballero? I think was playing third base at the time. I believe it was. But was able to make a great defensive play and throw Vlad. Again, Vlad's not the fastest runner, so he had more time, but was able to get a 1-2-3 inning, and the New York Yankees take that game 3 and win 9-6. And you got to tip your cap to a couple guys here. Tip your cap to Aaron Judge, because with all the crap that everyone's been spewing the past few days about how it's all on Aaron Judge, he's been showing up. He's been doing his thing. He hit a home run. He never wavered. And you got to give him credit because, again, this team kind of runs off of Aaron Judge. Then you got to give Aaron Boone a ton of credit because Carlos Rodon, whether or not I think that maybe they should have pulled him sooner, he handled the bullpen extremely well all game long. Carlos Rodon gave that game away in the first 3 innings. Gave it away. 6 runs in 3 innings. He said, take it. I don't want it. And Aaron Boone was able to piece together a bullpen for 6 innings or for 5 2/3 innings to put up zeros. And most of those guys, I'm like, do you have enough good arms to get you to the 9th inning? And to be honest with you, he didn't. He needed 4 outs from Devin Williams, and he needed 5 outs from David Bednar, and he got it. And hello, Brian Cashman, good job by you for trading for Devin Williams and trading for David Bednar and trading for Camille Doval. Those 3 guys you got, they worked in this game. In this specific game, they came through and they gave you zeros. That's what you needed. And congratulations, the Yankees live for another day. Now, here's the big thing, right? The Blue Jays are now shaking the boots because you got Cam Slittler, who just came off of 8 innings, 0 runs, 0 walks, 12 strikeouts in his previous outing, which was lights out versus the Red Sox in what you think would be a high pressure situation because it's a win or go home situation. Well, guess what? It's going to happen again. He's already done this. And Cam Slittler has shown he could do this quite often. So the Blue Jays got to be shaking their boots because they don't want this series to go back to Toronto. I don't care who they say, what they say, how good Vlad Guerrero Jr. has been. It's a bullpen game. They're basically going to throw this game away, by the way, on game 4. So it's going to go back to Toronto, which is the dumbest thing you could do because, yeah, you might be able to line up your starting pitching, but you can't rely on those pitchers. The Yankees have seen your best. They've seen it. Okay, that's like Garrett Crochet. The Yankees saw Garrett Crochet. They didn't have to face him again, thank goodness, but they saw the best. That's it. If that's the best you got, you're screwed because this Yankee team, once they start hitting, they dominate. And you allowed too many to get hot today, whether it was Judge, whether it was Chisholm, Grisham, he was looking bad at the plate all series long, got a huge double. I mean, everybody basically, you go through it. Grisham with the huge double. Judge, 3 for 4. Like I said, a huge double. Bellinger, a double. He went 2 for 4. Rice was the only one that kind of, okay, fine. But Caballero came in, got a base hit. Stanton got a huge hit. We know that. Chisholm got the home run. McMahon only had one at bat, so be it. But Rosario came in, and again, like I said, a nice double off of a righty. Hey, how about that? Then you had Volpe, okay, with the offer, but Austin Wells got 2 hits. You're allowing these guys to get back in the series. You're allowing these guys to get hot. Bad job by the Blue Jays. This was kill. This was kill mode. And IKF and Barger at third base allowed the Yankees to get back into the series. And it's going back to Toronto. I know we got a game. I know we got a game tomorrow on Wednesday, game 4 at the stadium. But let's be serious. This is going back to Toronto on Friday, and my money is on the Yankees. They are going to completely and utterly embarrass Toronto at home as well. So Toronto had their moments. Unfortunately, they fell short. Now, there was something else that happened last night or this morning, whenever you're listening to this or watching this or whatever it is. There was a there was a home opener. There was a season opener. The Rangers dropped the puck at Madison Square Garden, and it was as disappointing of a season opener that I can recall, as there was no offense whatsoever from the New York Rangers. There felt like there was no setup. There was no specific breakaway. There was no moment that this New York Ranger team looked like they were putting together any sort of offensively minded strategy. And you get a new coach in Mike Sullivan. And we did this a preview this morning or this afternoon or yesterday, whenever it was, with Chris Lepresti. And we're going through how is this team going to look compared to last year's team, because the beginning of the season, they caught fire, they were hot, and then they just fell flat. The offense was terrible, and Shesterkin was bad, and the defense was bad, and everything just looked terrible, and they missed the playoffs by a little bit, but it was a gut-wrenching season to watch such a bad team after they started out so well. I think they were 11-4, whatever it was, and then turned into 11-11, and that turned into we ain't going to the playoffs. But now you start off against Pittsburgh, who is a team that is old/young, because they have a lot of old vets that are on their way out. But they also have a lot of young, youthful players. They fired their coach. Mike Sullivan's not there anymore, right? He's with the Rangers. Hello. And the Rangers just looked slow. They looked sloppy. They looked like they didn't know how to put together an offensive shot at all. They had it looked like the puck control was lackluster, and it just felt like this team, it's just 3 periods. We only saw 3 periods, and Igor Shesterkin played well. The defense played well. They only allowed 1 goal. But it just felt like this is a continuation from last year, and the one thing that was missing was the goal scoring, was the explosive offense. Guys like, Kreider was here last year or 2 years ago when he was scoring crazy amounts of goals. Last year he was here, did nothing. It doesn't feel like Zimbabwe is going to be back to his high tally of goals. Panarin, seems like he's lost a step. Those are the guys you're relying upon. JT Miller came in last year in a trade, and it felt like, okay, he gave you a little spark, but he's not going to be the guy that's putting up 50 goals, and that's what the Rangers need. They need somebody that's going to be able to put the puck in the back of the net, and they weren't even close today. They weren't even close. Again, the Rangers had 25 shots. I don't know if many were highly contested. I don't know if any of them were really highly, what's the word I'm looking for? Highly, it's not highly. I don't think it's highly. But either way, it didn't look very good. It looked like shit. Let's put it that way. None of them looked like they were going to go in the back of the net. None of them looked like they were going to fool the goaltender. That's what I was trying to say. And that's the basic point of it. Whatever the word is I'm really trying to look for, it looked crappy. They didn't put anything that looked like it was going to be a significant shot on it. There we go. Significant. That's the word. Why not? Didn't look like there was a significant shot on net the entire game for the Rangers. And that's scary. They had a couple power play chances, didn't do anything with it. Was it a couple? I know they had at least one. They had one early in the game, in the first minute. And that's the, excuse me. And that's where it really stemmed from. I'm like, oh my God. The first minute you get a power play and there was nothing. There was no momentum. There was no build. There was no setup. There was no shots. There was no nothing. And that to me is scary. That to me is scary that they are going to be offensively challenged all season long. And that's going to have to change. Yeah, they had two power plays and they went 0 for 2. So again, nothing too exciting from the first game of the season. And again, Shesterkin, I'm not going to tell you that, hey, it's the first game, you gave up a goal, you stopped 27 shots, so I can't sit there and crush him. Was the goal that he gave up weak? No, not really. It was what it was. But this is going to be a problem and then especially because 2.5 minutes left to go in the game. The dumbest part of it, 2.5 minutes to go in the game, they pull Shesterkin, which I understand. You want to pull the goal. You want to get an extra skater on the ice. They allow a goal within 18 seconds. 18 seconds of pulling the goalie. So no control whatsoever of the puck. They pull the goalie. Game is basically over, 2-0. They pull the goalie again. They pull Shesterkin again, and they score again. So they get 2 empty net goals in 20 seconds. This goes from 1-0 with 2.5 minutes to go to a blowout. 3-0 with 1:50 left. I mean, what the hell? That is some awful play calling. That is awful timing. This just disgusting. Like, that just shows how little control the Rangers had of this game. They couldn't control the puck even when they had a man advantage. So it is a disappointing way to start the season off. I will tell you that much. Now, I'm going to do more of the previews because the Islanders haven't played yet. The Devils haven't played yet. They're coming up. So we will do a couple previews for that. We'll do previews for the Knicks. We'll do previews for the Nets, too, when they start their season. Maybe we'll do some previews for the Jets and Giants when they start their season, too, because who knows when that's going to happen. Excuse me. But regardless, the New York Yankees, they live another day. And we will do another podcast tomorrow after the game is over. Whether they win, they lose, whatever the case is, we will be locked and loaded on this Yankee playoff run. As long as they go, we go. I'm going to be doing this every day no matter what. So some days I say I'm going to do it and it doesn't happen. But for the most part, I'm doing it every day. So please join me after the last game is over, whether it's the Yankees, whether it's the Rangers, whether it's the Knicks, whether it's the Devils, Islanders, Nets. I will be here for you. Thank you again for listening to another episode of WFAN Daily with Pete Hoffman. That's I. You can follow me at HoffWFAN. Please follow the Odyssey app. Please like, subscribe to the YouTube page and all that stuff. We put these episodes up all the time, whether it's Rico Bronya, whether it's WFAN Daily. You will see them pop up randomly, and you want to be locked in. You never know who's going to be on with me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's a guest. We'll find out. But we're going to start to add more flavor to it. You saw the other day, if you guys are fight fans, I had some fighters on the other day. BKFC, Mike Perry, and Jeremy Stevens, who had a big fight over the weekend. Mike Perry won, and congratulations to him. I'm going to try to do some more UFC fighters. So there's going to be a ton of different characters to join me on this daily basis podcast. So it's not going to be just me sitting here spitting game to all you, but for the most part, you can see my face at least somewhere. Thank you again for listening and watching. I will see you guys tomorrow with BT and Sal at 10 a.m. We will surely be talking about Game 3 and previewing Game 4 to the ALDS. But for now, have a good night or have a great morning, whatever it is. See ya.